Do you list things in your shop as collections or just as and when you have them ready? If, like me, you do collection launches or shop updates, then I thought I'd just make this video for you, a little fun one, of the pros and cons to launching collections, because I'm in the thick of it right now, and you'll have to forgive me. We're in the kitchen today, so it's a bit of a scrappy setup, scrappier than usual. School holidays, so we're doing the best that we can. Okay, let's go with the pros first, because I need to remind myself of why I'm doing this. One of the things that I like the most about it is that it gives me a break from constantly having to sell. I hate the whole feeling of listing one item after another and being like, I have this thing, I have this other thing, and I have another thing, and oh, now there's another thing, sell, 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 sell. It can start to feel a bit much after a while, promotion-wise. So I do like the fact that collection launches or periodic shop updates, they do give you a bit of a break from that, which I love. The other thing I like is that you can work in batches. So you can focus on the making of the items and then the pictures of the items and then writing the descriptions of the items and all of the other things in the whole process. You can do it in batches for the whole lot. And there is a tidiness to that that a part of my brain really likes. Another thing that I really like about doing it is that I find the whole marketing and promotion thing to be a lot more fun and just generally more enjoyable. I like the fact that there's a period of not selling anything, but showing people the behind the scenes making, and then you can say, I have these things. It's more of a short amount of time. It's just more of a natural ebb and flow, and I really like that. This one might be a personal one, but I think it works really well alongside a mailing list if you use it in the right way. And then you can attract people to your mailing list who are more likely to be interested in your work and your products. So they tend to be your biggest fans, essentially. It might mean that your mailing list is smaller and builds up slower, but the quality of it is just better. But yes, I do find that selling collections as opposed to drip feeding items works really well alongside email marketing. And the fifth one, which I've kind of already alluded to, is that ebb and flow. There's a natural rhythm to it that I really like. It really suits me in the way that I like to work. So for all of these reasons, I do prefer making a bulk load of items, listing them, and then taking the foot off the gas a little bit. Those are my pros to selling collections or doing shop updates. And now for the cons, because aren't there always cons? And for me, one of the biggest cons is that there's a pressure there to make more money so that you can, it can last you in between collection drops, if you see what I mean. Whereas if you're drip feeding items into your shop, it's spread over a period of time consistently, and if you have an off week, that's fine because there's always the next week and what have you. But collection launches, there's kind of a pressure there to make it then so that it lasts you. And if you don't make it then, it gets fun. So yeah, that's a bit of a con. This actually might overtake that con for me, and that is that you have to be more organized. I'm not very organized. I try, but I'm not organized enough. I'm almost always late, but then I'm a flexible boss, so. But yeah, you do have to be organized, because once you have announced that launch date, you kind of have to stick to it. Otherwise it appears flaky, and I've been there before. Okay, I listed this as a pro. I'm also listing it as a con. You have to work in batches. Because yes, there is a lovely rhythm to that, and yes, it means you can focus on one kind of thing at a time, and there is an advantage to that. But if it's a thing that you don't like, working in batches is brilliant when you've got to do something that you like making the thing, which is my favorite part of the process. But when it's something like product photography or creating the copy for the descriptions for the listings, things like that I personally hate, yeah, it's not so much fun then. The other thing that I found, which I'm going to list as a con, is that it does kind of slow your turnaround ideas-wise. And also, if anything happens that's sort of unplanned or out of your control, like, I don't know, the things that we've had to deal with over the last few years, it's harder to adjust the sales and it takes a little bit longer. Although if you are drip feeding your items in, if something crops up or you have a sudden idea that you just know is going to do well, you can adjust the sales and move in that direction accordingly a lot quicker. It's not really a huge con for me, but it is worth mentioning because it's something that crops up occasionally. And this one doesn't really apply to me anymore, but I'm going to stick it in there because I know that a lot of people watching this channel have an Etsy shop. And I have found that collections don't do as great on Etsy for the simple reason that Etsy like the recency. They like people buying constantly and consistently. And if you're dropping a big collection and making a lot of sales followed by a period of not much, that does tend to give it a bit of a wobble because it doesn't understand why, which is fair enough. That's just how the algorithms are set up. But it does mean that you create a model where you are reliant on sending your own traffic all of the time because you're going to be constantly trying to wake up the Etsy algorithm and saying, hi, I'm here. And then when Etsy catches up and then starts showing your products to other people, then you'll probably have a quiet period and then it will drop off again. So it's worth just bearing that in mind. It does work on Etsy, but it just means that you have to treat Etsy like a website and you will have to do all of the generating of traffic and sales and stuff. And when I say generating of traffic and sales, I mean bringing people to your shop. Because unfortunately, you can't generate your own sales. That's not a thing. Hopefully you get my point. But it is possible. I have done it. Last year, I was tilting the business slightly so that I could release collection launches and then have items that would bring in a steady income in between. The only problem that I found with that is that there's a lot of energy that goes into both different types of doing things. So all of my attention was going towards getting those smaller, consistent sales, and then the collections kind of fell by the wayside. So now I'm focusing on a website and the collections again, and those consistent ding, 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 ding sales that I focused on so much just for the algorithm. I don't need to worry about that with the website. So, but yes, as I say, not a con for me, but it is worth bearing in mind if you have an Etsy shop. Okay, I don't know if that was useful to anyone. I hope it was. It's all you're getting this week though, because as I say, it's carnage here. I'm doing the best I can. And if I have done everything right, then my collection should be going in the shop tomorrow as you're watching this video. If you're watching this video on the day that it goes live. If you're watching this video in the future, never mind. So now over to you. I would love to hear from you and what you do, what you prefer. Do you list things in your shop as and when they are available, or do you like to make a big batch of things and then launch a shop update like I do? Come and let me know, and if you've got any tips, come and let me know, please. I would love to hear them. And until next time, bye-bye.